Derek Young and Matt Hall here from inside of Bill Snyder Family Stadium after Bill Snyder's Tuesday press conference. Derek, the story today is probably again about how Bill Snyder spoke and his tone. Clearly agitated by the media's questions today, specifically about quarterback. What did you take from all this?
I think he's exhausted with the quarterback questions, and obviously there's an argument that maybe he brought some of this on himself, maybe the majority of it, but he's certainly exhausted by it, and he's answering the questions the same way, and I think people are trying to give him, maybe some room to maybe explain himself further, and he just doesn't seem willing to do that. So he's certainly testy, and I think that he's kind of reached a boiling point and reached his point where he's not going to give the media anything further on his thoughts regarding the quarterbacks.
As Derek just said, we don't have any more today about the quarterbacks, at least about who would play. But in your impression, after Skylar Thompson had a nice second half against Texas, Alex Delton perhaps a little dinged up, would you expect to see more Thompson against Baylor than we have at least last week?
Yeah, I would imagine that he's starting, and I think it could be more health-related than anything, or at least that's probably our biggest hint at this point. But I would imagine Skylar starts, and we see more Skylar than we did against Texas. But if Alex Delton's healthy, then we'll probably see both quarterbacks.
The positive side today is I think K-State does feel better after a good second half against the Texas Longhorns, in which they outscored Texas 14-0 in the second half here last week. We talked to Zach Reuter about what they could take from the game against the Longhorns.
The fight this team has, we started to have a little attitude in the second half of that game, and that if we can bottle that up and really start to put that at each component, each opponent each week, and be able to do it for the entire game, we can have a lot of success.
So as Reuters said, Derek, they do have some things they feel good about coming off the second half against Texas. A chance to go to Baylor this weekend, get to 500. Momentum's probably too strong of the word, but are they in a little better place, you think, than they were a week ago?
The offense probably feels like they're headed in the right direction because they played a better second half than they did a first half, and they'd like to carry that forward. The defense was probably played their best game of the year. They did. And they only gave up probably 10 points, I think.
Right.
10 points if you take away the other 9 and a shutout in the second half. So I think the defense probably feels really good about themselves, and the offense has to at least be a little optimistic due to how they played in the second half.
As crazy as it is, we're coming into week 6 already of the college football season, the halfway point. Adam Holtorf's aware of where K-State is in their season, but he's not ready to push the panic button just yet.
I'm not concerned. I've got faith in everybody and what we're doing as a team. I think we're working to get better. I think we are getting better. I think we're making the strides in the right direction, and so it's just that it puts a little more emphasis on needing to get it done now. A little more greater sense of urgency in what we're doing.
Of course, K-State does head to Waco Saturday to play the Baylor Bears. We'll all be down there to watch the Wildcats and Bears in Waco. Derek, we said this last week, must-win's a funny term to use. They didn't get one against Texas. It's a step further this week. How badly does K-State need to win over Baylor?
Yeah, there was even a couple players this week that coined this game as do or die. You're 2-3 overall. You're 0-2 in the Big 12. So if we were to fall in this game, even reaching a bowl seems kind of, a challenge at this point. So I don't think they make a bowl without beating Baylor.
Right.
So this is do or die in that capacity.
Yeah, the bar has probably been set lower now for perhaps K-State and its fans, hoping for a bowl game. But as Derek said, without getting a win at Baylor Saturday, it's going to be hard to find that path to a bowl game for the Wildcats. That'll wrap it up today. Like I said, we'll all be down in Waco to provide you coverage of Kansas State and Baylor this coming weekend. For Grant Flanders and Derek Young, I'm Matt Hall for K-StateOnline.
Tell your friends.